Hey, what's up guys? I just wanted to do a video on the equipment on my tank. Not too long of a video, it'll be less than 10 minutes. Just kind of skimming over what I have running the tank. So starting off with the filtration, there are two Cascade. As you can see, one's bigger than the other. The one on the left's a 1000 model and the one on the right is a 1500. You could totally run this tank with the one on the right, but I always go +1 on my filtration. I believe that it's with a tank this size, 6 feet long, you should have a return and a return and a intake or whatever you want to call it on both sides, so that you're getting like even flow in the tank. Because if you just have one filter off to one side, I mean, yeah, if you got power heads in there, you're blowing stuff around, but I feel like one side is going to be dirtier than the other, which may or may not be a problem depending on how much you feed and how many fish you have. So I just think it's good to have over filtrate your system. It's not going to hurt anything. In fact, it's going to do you some good. So that's pretty much it for filters. Other than that, I just wanted to say the Cascade models, guys, they're really quiet, and they work great, and they're easy to clean and stuff like that. So no hassles, no headaches with cleaning. There's no rubber gaskets falling into the toilet when you're dumping out the water or whatever. Everything's all contained and nice, and they don't leak, and they prime nice. They have the primer right on top, and the disconnect's really easy, and they both have shut-off valves, pretty similar to most canister filters nowadays. So I don't remember exactly what I paid for them, but I definitely had no problems throwing down the money for them, because I read the reviews and saw how other people felt about them. So that's it on the filters, guys. Look to your left, you can see my dosing container sticking up there with the white lid on it. I dose Excel, potassium, and iron automatically. The doser's right above that container on that box back there, the wine box, with the LCD screen up there, the blue. That thing is pretty cool, man. It was only like 89 bucks or 79 bucks. Comes with all the pumps and everything for it. It's all automatically set up, so I just rigged up all my fertilizers and stuff into it, primed it up, ran some lines up top that go right into the top of the tank. I used that like CO2, like stiff cloudy tubing stuff there, the same diameter as airline tubing, but it's like more rugged. I do that because actually when I had a saltwater tank, I had a setup and I used that stuff, the real flexy stuff, and I had went to go do something and pinched one of the lines with something, so it was dosing over, like, basically completely kinked, and it blasted the like latexy type output tube that comes off the pump. It just blew up like a balloon and blasted all over the inside of it was a mess. So I'll never use that stuff again. So I got the non-collapsible stuff. It's like plastic stuff, and it works great. So that's it on dosing. There's an air pump under there because I'm running CO2 when the lights are on. So I do a 24-hour, non-stop. That air pump's running full blast in here, right in the center of the tank. On the other filter, the one on the right, I've got a UV sterilizer plumbed into it. I run that right now full time, but I'm gonna be cutting it down to like 6 hours a day because I don't feel that it needs to be run. I might actually wait until I replace the bulb in a couple more months to kill it down to the 6 hours, just because I don't really want to mess with it right now. I've got it set up back there, and I don't know, I'd rather handle it once instead of fixing it right now and then having to do the bulb in another couple months. I just want to do it all at once, and it's not hurting to have it on full time. It's not a bad thing at all. It's just using the bulb's life up quicker. So but I'm going to replace it at the 6-month mark. So it's an 18 watt, perfect for this tank. But yeah, that's it on that stuff. The only other thing, I'm going to show you guys this because it's kind of, so I got a battery backup down here, right? Now, the cool thing about this is it'll run 150 watt heater and an air pump for about an hour and like 20 minutes, somewhere around there. So, and that has nothing to do with that 120. That's 120 watts are plugged into it right now. But so you could run, like, basically this has surge and it has surge and battery backup. So, and it has combination surge battery. So there's a ton of outputs on this thing. So I have it rigged right now that my air pump and my 150 watt backup heater is on that. So if the power kicks off, boom, they're on, and it just kind of maintains the temperature for about a little, I'd say it'd be about an hour probably, because I feel like as this drains, like any battery, it's just going to drain quicker as it goes down. So, or you know, not all batteries, but that's what this does. It drops off pretty quick. So but yeah, so you could have this set up a number of ways. You could have your filter plugged into it, your, you know, just your air pump. It'll run an air pump for like 6-7 hours straight. The reason that mine lasts longer than most, some of you are probably like, no, there's no way that does that. You can't see it, but I've got another tower that's the same size that's backed up into this. It's just a big case full of batteries. It's a battery backup basically, and it like pretty much doubled the life of everything, if not a little bit more probably. So yeah, it's a cool little thing to have, I think. I don't know, it's it was a little pricey, but it's lasted me a long time. And I can actually, the way I have this set up, there's some buttons at the top there. You hit that center power button and it kills all the stuff I need to do a water change, because of the way I have it set up. Everything that I need off is on that thing. So it allows me to kill the stuff I need with one button instead of, you know, whatever, just like having a power strip. So other than that, guys, ballasts and stuff, I just try to keep them somewhat apart. I'd like to get them mounted sometime and put them, you know, on something with like a fan blowing on it, but I don't know, someday. I'm gonna do a video later on the Parkinsoni rainbows that I bought last week. Remember they were doing good. I knew they were gonna be fine, but they were all chilling at the bottom of the tank, and they all had sores on their mouths. So they were stressed out because they had just come into my guy's fish store, and then I went and picked them up like 3 days later. So they probably just got settled in, and then I stole them away. So I'm gonna do a video on how they're doing and how much better they're acting compared to, you know, before. They're schooling around, they're swimming with everybody. Everybody's getting along now. Even my Iran red rainbows were kind of chilling in the back, and they were kind of skittish. I'm not sure the Bosamanis were really accepting of them at first, so it was kind of weird because normally they're pretty good together. So I pretty much hit a limit for fish now, but I'll do a video later. So we got the lights, guys, running the tank, doing a great job. And this, my friends, is the highlight of the tank. I love CO2 now that I have it. It's ridiculous. It makes such a big difference in the plants, in their growth. You know, everything's like, it's nuts. I would definitely, I'm never gonna go back to no CO2. So definitely kick ass. I got a 20-pound cylinder I just got. This is a 5-pounder, so when this runs out, I got a 20 all filled up, ready to go. I'm gonna plumb it in and probably use that permanently and just have that filled. But so yeah, got some peroxide back there. I use peroxide every time I do a water change. Take 50% water down. All the plants are just laying out across the top of the water. Give them a good blast with this stuff. It's pretty safe. A lot of people think they just won't use it, and that's fine. I mean, that's personal preference, but I use it because it works. It kills off anything on my power heads, my glass, everything. So definitely recommend peroxide at every water change. Got some other products here, new algae. I use that regularly. I definitely find that works and makes a huge difference. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. So stay tuned for the video tonight. As soon as my lights come on and they get rolling. And speaking of CO2, I ran out of CO2 the other day, okay? And one thing that I noticed right off the bat is like my cardinalis, my Telanthric cardinalis, which is like for those of you who don't know, it's like a reddish leaf plant. I got a couple other plants that are like that, but some of the neon-y, like if you guys have seen some of my other videos, if you're looking at my cardinalis, it's like neon, like purple, like ridiculous purple colors. That doesn't happen without the CO2, I noticed, because I would get that literally every single like 3/4 of the way through the light cycle with the CO2 bumping, I would get those leaves would just get neon like purple, like craziness. You can see it in my videos if you go back, but that doesn't happen without the CO2. So I thought that was pretty cool. You know, those 3 days that I didn't have it, they did not change that color, and I specifically checked each day to see, and they didn't. So it was really weird. So once I got the CO2 rolling again, about the second day, I noticed it came right back again. So I'll do a video in a little bit, and we'll even go over that. I'll do it towards the end of the cycle so that you know, you can see some of that stuff. But thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. And if you guys have any questions or suggestions on the equipment, you know, like any of the stuff I'm using, you want to know about it or whatever. The only other thing I have for equipment that I didn't go over is I've got a power head right here. You really can't see it. There it is. So that comes on right when my CO2 comes on, same timer, and my CO2 is right below it, so it rises up and then pushes it across the tank and mixes everything in. So it does a really good job with that. And then I have an Eheim top skimmer. I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of these before, but they're pretty cool. They're pretty inexpensive, like 30-40 bucks. But what this does is it takes that film, that layer off the top of your water. I know you can't see it that well, but it's basically like a floating thing with channels, and so it's always at water level, and it's just taking water in right through the top, right off the top of the water. So if you got like floaties, plants, things like that, there's a little sponge inside of it that you clean out. And I'll show you what it looks like back here. It's kind of hard to see, but there it is. It's stuck on the glass right there. So anyway, alright guys, well, thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it. Do some top shots here. Yeah, it's no fun with the lights off. Ooh, what we got here? Alright. Thanks, guys.